Hey y'all, I'm back. I'm going to be doing a new series called Voodoo Man Recaps where I take a couple of topics and I talk about them all under 10 minutes. This is something I want to try to do to get some consistency and get my ideas out there. I haven't been doing that. Life's been crazy, but I'm back now. So this week we're going to talk about Bill Cosby, Sha'Carri Richardson, and the Olympics. And there's an overarching idea of reimagining institutions and why are we stuck on things? We need to have more imagination. So let's talk about Bill Cosby. If you don't know about Bill Cosby, he's been in jail for about 3 years, I believe. Could be more. I haven't been following it super closely. This is not, to me, the issue is not about whether or not he did it or didn't do it or there's some conspiracy. He admitted to doing many of these acts in a civil case. The issue is that evidence should not have been allowed in court. There was a district attorney who decided not to prosecute him when Andre Constant brought the case to them in 2005, not to prosecute him criminally in 2005, and then when they did they did the civil suit, he could not plead the fifth, and he admitted to many of the crimes that he was accused of. So he did do those things. Two things can be true at once. He can be guilty of those things and he could be wrongfully jailed with our current legal system. So when there was a new district attorney 10 years later, they looked at the evidence and said they wanted to prosecute him, even though the other DA said that he would not be prosecuted for this case. He went to jail. That case, his lawyers kept pushing it until it got to the Supreme Court. They said that they would honor the original agreement with the district attorney, which is actually how I think our current justice system should work. Now, this does not mean that Bill Cosby isn't guilty. This is not saying that what he did was not morally and ethically incorrect. There are a lot of... it's clear. That's clear. He said it. But the bigger questions, here's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in debating whether or not he should have went to jail, whether or not he did it or not. Like that's the question is how do we want our justice system to work? And there's two parts to this question. Do we want our justice system to, one, be so reliant on money? If you have money to pay your lawyers for years and years and years, it seems like they will find a way to get you out. If you do not have money to pay for a lawyer, no matter what the crime is, seems like you're going to do time, maybe more time than you should. These are my opinions now. I'm not speaking about any facts. These are my opinions. It seems like you would do more time than you should. Is that justice? Now, what does justice mean? What does justice look like? How do we want our jails to operate? Are our jails strictly punitive? Do we just want to punish people for the things they did wrong? Do we want to remove people who are dangerous from society? Do we want to take people who are doing wrong things and rehabilitate them so they can re-enter society and become prosperous members? People who can contribute to their communities. What do we want our jails to be? And part of the reason I think about this is, when I saw Bill Cosby's release, I mean, I understand the outrage. I really do. I don't know if he's still a harm to people, a threat to. I don't know if he's still a threat to women. And I wonder where he should be. These are just questions and ideas. I'm not saying that, he's not. He is guilty. But my question is, what do we want? What do we want to be done? Do we want more punishment? Is it to deter other people? Because to me, I don't know if that's a deterrent. I don't know if him going to jail is a deterrent for other people doing that. And that, to me, is more of what we should be doing. There should be more deterrence. Right? So, real quick, let's go aside to the Derek Chauvin case, right? He got 22 and a half years. Some people would say that's not enough time. And my question is, what would be enough time? don't think there is any amount of time for when you take someone's life like that that would be justice. I think the closest thing we could do to actually getting as close as we can to justice would be changing how we police our communities, changing the laws so that that will never happen again. It is a similar feeling I have with Bill Cosby. And, you know, this is not to take away the feeling of anybody. I don't get stuck on the individual case. To me, it's larger. It's like, I know Bill Cosby is a representative for the Me Too movement. Him and Harvey Weinstein were probably the biggest pillars of that movement. But my point is more like, what's going to stop that from happening again? What can we do to stop that from happening? I don't have this answer right now. I'm just posing the question. Because I think we need to reimagine. We have to have a bigger imagination. We have to reimagine how our justice system works. I don't think this was the correct way to... If someone does something like that, and they admit to it, but now they can't be punished for it, or they can't go to jail for it, is that correct? Then what does jail mean? Like, are we just like, what is the purpose of jail? These are questions I have. I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. I would love to know what you guys think. Like, you know, I know there are countries that do jail much differently than the U.S. We jail the most people. We don't really rehab people in jail. We don't really better people. And to me, that is a perfect opportunity to take people that are going to jail and providing them with tools to better their lives, which happens many times. It can happen, but I don't think that we do pour enough resources into that aspect. I don't think that's the main goal when we are imprisoning people. And I think there's a mindset of punishment, and that being the punishment. And to me, I don't think that's the best way to live in a society. So there's that. The second thing is Sha'Carri Richardson. If you're not familiar, Sha'Carri Richardson she's a 21-year-old girl who is tearing up the track. She's getting ready to compete in her first Olympics, the 2020 Olympics in 2021 due to COVID. You know, she tested positive for marijuana in her drug test. Now she said that, you know, I know her biological mother died, and that news hit her hard, and she said that was why she, you know, turned to weed. And look, I'm a former athlete. I understand, and I know she understood this, and she took accountability for it. She said that she knew. She knew that what she was putting at risk. She understood. She made a bad decision. She took all the accountability for it. I don't think that, you know, they're out to get her. But what I would say is, weed is not a performance enhancing drug. Can we reimagine a better system? Can the ILC say, hey, it don't matter if you choose to do weed. It doesn't matter if they drink alcohol. Why can't they have weed? Weed is legal in many states. I know it's not a state law. It wasn't America that is trying to ban her. It was the International Olympic Committee that is saying that she can't participate, and that has been a problem for, you know, many athletes. That's happened. They have very stringent testing. They're always looking for PEDs and trying to make sure that the playing field is level. But the main thing I'm saying is, weed is not a performance enhancing drug. It's not much different. It's not used much differently than alcohol as a you know, something to help people relax, something to use at parties. Can we imagine a better system? Is that the best system to have for young athletes? I think that weed has been demonized incorrectly over many years, and it's just time to do away with it. I see many American professional sports are changing their stance on testing for weed. There's been, weed is actually one of the things that seems to have, it has proven to have healing properties. So it just doesn't make sense at the end of the day. It doesn't make sense to take away this girl's dreams, all the hard work she's done because of one mistake that put nobody else at risk, gave her no advantage. It doesn't make sense. And when things don't make sense, we should change them. Because all of these systems that we're living in are things that we made. So we should change things that don't make sense. On another topic with the Olympics, while we're talking about the Olympics, I heard that they banned a black company from making swim caps, specifically for different types of hair, black hair. They said that it was not that high-level athletes or something like that would not need gear like that. That's ridiculous. That, it's utterly ridiculous. Why does it matter if a company wants to make gear for black swimmers? If, now swimming is a sport where aerodynamics or aquatic dynamics, I'm not sure what it is, but there's drag. Hair would slow you down. The more hair you have, like they have no body hair. They're trying to be as fast as possible. All those milliseconds count. All of them count. So that's why they wear the caps in the first place, to try to get as narrow as possible. They don't want any drag. They want that water to slip right off them. So if a person doesn't want to cut their hair, they should have an option to wear a swim cap. It's that simple. Let's imagine a better system. I was following the Tokyo they've been saying things like they don't want any type of demonstrations at their Olympic Games, that they don't want any, so they don't want any fists in the air, they don't want any backs turned, and I don't know how that's going to fly, because we're living in a time where people are less and less afraid of corporations and companies, as they should be. I think that, I understand that the Olympics is a time for us to try to all come together, but it's wrong to deny people their voice and their stance on a stage like that. And I really do feel like that's targeted towards black people. Black people have used the Olympics for a long time to make a stance. And for them to say that they don't want any protests or shirts or anything like that, that bothers me. And I don't know if you've been paying attention, but that's an issue. And what would the Olympics be without black athletes? It would be terrible. We have some of the most recognizable athletes in the world, in the sports, in the sports that make the most money. You're talking about track, gymnastics, basketball, obviously not soccer, so I guess they're safe there. But yeah, just, I don't like that. I don't like that stance. And again, it comes back to, can we imagine something better? I just want to make everyone very clear, make it very clear for everyone, going back to the Bill Cosby thing. I am not in any way saying that what he did was okay. I'm not apologizing for him. I am not trying to defend him at all. I'm just saying that when I looked at his situation, and it just made me have these questions. How do we want our justice system to behave? I think, and it just brings, there's a larger thought I was having. A lot of times we look at systems and feel like, well, that's how they are. But we have to realize everything, government systems, corporation systems, societal norms, all of that is made up by us. Like, we all have, there's like an unofficial agreement that this is how we're going to operate. But sometimes information or things evolve to a point where it needs to change. Rules need to change. Things need to be made allowances for, and I don't know why that's so hard for people, but we have to remember that we are these systems. We are the ones making up these rules. We are the ones that are agreeing to play by these rules, and we don't have to. We don't have to. We can change those things. We do have that power. So, you know, when I look at how our justice system works, I just think we could imagine a better way. And I mean, you know, when I say imagine, I know that there are other countries, there are other places that do justice differently than we do here in America. Probably better. And we could use those models. There are models out there that we could use to do a better job of, you know, getting it right. Because I don't think we're getting this right. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. I'd love to hear what everybody's saying on this. And yeah, so drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Voodoo Man.
Voodoo.